This is Talk with Audrey. Welcome back. 4 years ago, at the age of 61, Neil Meyers, an award-winning documentarian, an amateur triathlete, and his relay team had just won the biggest race of their life, the New York City Triathlon. 4 weeks later, he was fighting for his life in the Santa Barbara Cottage Hospital ICU, and he's made a documentary called Climb. It's a heartwarming story about his journey back from a near-death accident. Welcome, Neil.
Thank you. I appreciate your time.
Oh, it's my absolute pleasure. So tell us first, if you would, about the accident that you had that just about took your life.
Absolutely. So you kind of teed it up on your intro there. We were on cloud nine because we had won the New York City Tri. I was training for the next Tri. On a very steep road in Santa Barbara. It's called Gibraltar Road. I was done with my training for the day. I was late for dinner as usual, so I was just ripping down the mountain. I went around a blind curve and there was a truck in my lane coming right back at me. There was just no chance to react. Hit him head on, went through the windshield. I broke 16 bones in 26 places. I collapsed both lungs, bruised heart. I had a concussion, brain bleed, and that was just 2/10 into my journey, 2/10 of a second. The rest of the journey I was in ICU for 3 days. I was in the hospital for nearly a month. I walked after 2 months. An intensive rehab for 4 months, and then I got back on the bike and trained to get back to a triathlon because I was so heavily injured from this. That was the only way I knew to get completely back.
As an athlete, you obviously have a lot of determination. What do you think helped you to bounce back from those injuries, which were pretty devastating?
Yeah, so a couple things. First of all, you hit it. I was in really good shape, and right at the start, the reason I made it to the hospital was because of that. The head of trauma told my wife later that most people would not survive that accident, would have made it to the hospital, but my musculature just tensed up and formed a barrier that protected all my organs. But then the next thing is your body needs protein, so it basically started eating my muscles just to fuel my recovery. And then the third thing was in the hospital, I was able to do things that most people probably wouldn't because again, I was trained, and essentially if you break a leg and both your wrists are broken, you're doing a lot of one-legged things, and that's not so easy, but it's something we actually train for. But beyond that, I think what really helped me was just the community. My wife and family were there every step of the way. There were 70 people that worked on me in the hospital the first day. Ultimately, by the time I got back to the starting line, a year later, there had been 300 people that had worked on me. And I don't know how you get back from an accident this severe without that kind of help.
Well, I would agree. Why did you decide to make this documentary?
Good question. And I'll be honest, Audrey, at first I didn't want to. Everyone was saying you do this, you're a filmmaker, but making a documentary about yourself, it just seemed a little off. But the filmmaker in me said, I'm never going to see a story as good as this one. It's got everything you need. So ultimately it was a story I really couldn't not tell.
And when did you decide to make the documentary? Was it part of your recovery?
Yeah. Well, it's actually the problem was I didn't decide till 6 months after the accident. And if you're a filmmaker, you live and die with B-roll, which you being in the business know what that is, but it's that footage that shows what's happening so you don't just watch people talking. And so we were challenged with that. And that was the hardest thing in the documentary was finding ways to pull up B-roll and in some cases recreate it. But you mentioned as a part of the recovery, it turns out the number one protocol, I found this out after doing the documentary, number one protocol they use for trauma victims is they sit them in a 10-week protocol where they have them write down their story. And it really works well, and I kind of got the PhD on that because I took 2 years to do this documentary.
And once you decided to make the documentary, how did you decide what portions of your journey were the most meaningful and would have the greatest impact on people watching?
These are really great questions, by the way, and that was exactly the dilemma. First of all, how do you tell the story? It's 52 minutes, and putting that together is like a jigsaw puzzle that you don't know what it looks like yet. And in terms of deciding what went in, it was really a troika. It was myself, my wife, and my youngest son. And we would go in the editing suite day after day and try and make those decisions. We had a simple rule. It was a majority rule. So if my son and my wife said A and I thought B, it didn't matter. We went with A. And it evolves over time. And finally we had a rough cut. We shared it slowly, 3 people at a time, and just started making changes based on that. And it took probably another 2 or 3 months to gel. But just there's a point in time when people stopped making comments. They said, this is great, I like it. So it's a hard process, but it's fun.
And how are you feeling today, Neil?
I feel great. I'm 100% healed, which I don't think many people thought was going to happen, but I am. And I think it's really just a testament to the human body and how amazing our bodies are at actually healing.
And to your own determination, Neil, because, you know, there are people who would have had that kind of an accident and just given up. So I'm sure that your documentary, Climb, is probably going to be one of the most inspirational stories anyone can see this year. Do you have any races on the horizon?
So thank you for saying that. If people do want to see it, by the way, they can just come to the website. That's climbdoc.org, climbdoc.org. In terms of races, I love racing, but I don't race anymore. To remain safe going forward, I don't want to go back to the hospital, so I don't ride fast. And if you're not going to ride fast, there's no point racing. But I do train, which is actually the part I love the most anyway. And so I've actually been up Gibraltar Road more since the accident than before.
For you, was that just getting past it, getting past those moments and moving forward?
The funny thing is, Audrey, that the first ride I took after finally being able to get back on my bike, it took 4 months, and I was actually fit enough, but my wrists were still broken and I wasn't going to go on a bike I couldn't brake. And so finally when I was ready, the first ride was back up Gibraltar, and I had not been to the accident scene since the accident. I'd never seen it. And I was really expecting some sort of catharsis and, slow getting up there, but nothing happened. I don't remember the accident. There was nothing there, and it took me a while. I was actually disappointed, but then I realized, well, the accident's in the past, and the catharsis I'm looking for is going to be in the future, and I basically have to build it. And it actually came at the finish line in the triathlon a year later. And I'm choking up right now, but that's where I really, felt that I was beyond it.
Absolutely. Well, I can't wait to see Climb, and maybe, Neil, this is a story that you were meant to tell. This is the gift that you were meant to give to everyone who's struggling, who thinks that they can't make it, who's trying to overcome something. You just never know about your journey, right? You started out in a triathlon, and 4 weeks later you're fighting for your life, and now you've given us this documentary. So thank you very much.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate it. Thanks, Audrey.
You're watching Talk with Audrey. Insightful, intelligent, and inspiring conversations and information to help you improve the quality of your life. It's all about the business of living. You're watching Talk with Audrey. Welcome back. December 10th was Human Rights Day. It was also the 75th anniversary of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights and the role that women had in its creation. Kerry Kennedy, president of Robert F. Kennedy Human Rights, has devoted more than 40 years to the pursuit of equal justice and the promotion and protection of basic rights and the preservation of the rule of law. Kerry Kennedy joins me today to talk about why it's important to educate future generations about defending and respecting fundamental freedoms. Welcome.
Thank you. Great to be with you.
Thank you so much for joining me. Let's talk first about Human Rights Day and why it's important that we remember and celebrate.
Well, in the wake of Nazi atrocities during World War II, the countries of the world came together and said there are certain rights every human being has just by virtue of being part of the human family, and every country must protect those rights. So there are things like the right to food, the right to shelter, the right to health care, the right to a decent job, and then there are rights to be protected from torture, protected from genocide, protected from unreasonable searches and seizures. So that's what the Universal Declaration is all about, and that's what we're celebrating, the 74th anniversary of the General Assembly of the United Nations adopting those rights.
And those rights are in danger around the world. What can we do as individuals to help assure that they remain?
Well, I love that question, and that gets right to what we're doing at RFK Human Rights, because we are training the next generation of human rights defenders, kindergarten through law school. We're training them in what their rights are, social emotional learning, and community organizing. So they know how to assert their rights, they feel comfortable doing so, and they have the ability to bring together their family, their friends, their communities to en masse demand that governments or places of business respect those rights.
And of course, being involved in the process is also important because it impacts every one of us. The Universal Declaration of Human Rights really impacted women's rights.
Well, it was drafted by Eleanor Roosevelt in conjunction with people all over the globe. And it's been used by people like Rosa Parks, more recently, Malala, Greta Thunberg, and others who are asserting their rights. Gloria Steinem, Cesar Chavez, and Dolores Huerta, people in our country and all over the globe who are protecting basic rights.
You recently held a gala, and the Robert F. Kennedy Human Rights and Archwell Foundation, founded by the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, announced a new collaboration. Would you tell us more about that?
Sure. So Harry and Meghan are working with us. One of the essential parts to being able to assert your rights is to be able to tell your story. So we've created a video contest for middle and high school students working on women's rights to make a video. The winning video will be shown at the Tribeca Film Festival, and we're doing this in collaboration with the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, Harry and Meghan.
What a wonderful opportunity. Where can we go for more information about the Speak Truth to Power program?
So you can go to robertfkennedyhumanrights.org. That's rfkhumanrights.org, and it's right there on our landing page at rfkhumanrights.org.
Check out rfkhumanrights.org for more information about the Speak Truth to Power initiative. And if you have a young person who would be interested in the RFK Human Rights collaboration with the Duke and Duchess of Sussex video contest for middle and high school students working on human rights. Carrie Kennedy, thanks so much for joining me.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
Welcome back. Recent research suggests that what you snack on could reduce your wrinkles and more. There's a study from UC Davis that found that postmenopausal women who ate 2 ounces of almonds a day had a 16% reduction in wrinkle severity and a 20% reduction in uneven skin tone. Joining me, the best-selling cookbook author and food influencer, Shereen Pavlides, and board-certified dermatologist, Naana Boayke. Thank you both for joining me.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hi.
Thank you for having us.
I'm all in on almonds. Let me start with you, Dr. Boayke. What should we be thinking about to improve our skincare routines, and how does food play a role?
Yeah, so as a dermatologist, the conversation in my office is always with food, and because food improves your gut health, it's always about the right foods. I'm always incorporating vegetables and fruits as well as nuts, and almonds have such a great, impressive profile that I would just love to share more tips about. But you know, it's a great snack, a go-to snack, and a lot of us are busy nowadays, and so, you know, I just love
Smart, feel good. It's a smart, feel good snack.
Yeah.
So if you're going to reach for a snack, reach for one that's going to give you the benefits.
Yeah, I agree.
Right. What are some of the nutritional benefits of an almond that makes it an ideal snack?
It has 4 grams of fiber, it has 6 grams of protein, For your daily consumption of vitamin E, you're getting 50% of it just in 23 nuts. And it also, as you mentioned earlier, it could help with, hyperpigmentation as well as decreasing wrinkles in postmenopausal women. And it just improves your gut health. I mean, right now, I think a lot of us are hearing on social media and so forth in magazines how to improve gut health. And almonds are those, I think, affordable options to do that.
Shereen, do you have any healthy snacks that use almonds that you recommend if someone wants to make wellness a priority?
Yes, well, it's easy to take a good quality ingredient and keep it simple. I candy them, which is super simple. I've minced up some fresh rosemary, hit it with sea salt. Doesn't take me long. And now you've added that extra element of sweetness, makes them a little fancy, a little more gourmet. You could simply put them on your countertop just like this, or on your desk, add some dark chocolate chips. It's a simple, you've elevated this snack. So now you have sweet, you have salty, savory, and I like to cook with them. So you can now glam up and gourmet a dish simply by chopping them and using them as a garnish, finishing them on salads. I love almond butter too. So sometimes we forget about, we're thinking almonds, but also you have almond butter. Gosh, it's so satisfying. I'll go into my refrigerator if I feel like I just have that, I need that little pick-me-up. I'll take a spoon, dunk it in my almond butter, and I'll just take that, and it kind of just gives you that sense of satisfaction because you have the good fat. And that's really what helps you feel satisfied too.
Oh, and I love almond butter in smoothies.
Oh yeah. And it gives great flavor, gives great texture. Now you've incorporated that sort of viscosity in your smoothie. I will tend to actually add the almonds itself into the smoothie, and you'll notice, and a couple ice cubes as well, because I like it really, really cold, and it gives that great sort of volume and viscosity. Again, that creates satisfaction. There's nothing worse than a smoothie that's sort of flat and liquid. You lose that sense of satisfaction.
Yes, indeed. Dr. Boayke, as we age, our skin changes, right? So if we eat, say, about 23 almonds a day for a snack, that could be beneficial.
It definitely will. That study was in postmenopausal women, but there was another study over 12 weeks in Asian women that showed that it increased the resistance of UVB light in particular. So I think it's just super important to think about improving your gut health because therefore your skin looks more radiant. So 23 nuts is all you need. I think a lot of people like their chips and processed foods, and that does nothing for your skin. But almonds are the way to go.
Right, and we like a chip because we get crunch. Eat an almond, you're getting that crunch, and you're getting benefits.
Yeah, you're getting the skin benefits. Why not? A 2-for-1.
A twofer.
So it sounds to me like starting early and eating the right foods can also go a long way to improving the health of your skin. Where can we go for some more information?
Almonds.com. Thank you for having us, Audrey.
My absolute pleasure. Thank you. I'll be right back after this. Hi there, I'm Audrey Adams. Do you want to live a better, healthier, and more financially secure life? If so, then Talk with Audrey is for you. I talk to experts from a variety of fields. We'll talk about your financial life. We also delve into health and aging, and of course, business. You can get the benefit of all these interviews and so much more. Just watch Talk with Audrey right here. And if you need more information, either about me or the show, visit my website, talkwithaudrey.com. Tell your friends, your neighbors, your coworkers, everyone you know to join you in this pursuit of a better life. Watch Talk with Audrey. Welcome back. Smart scammers are always looking to take advantage of consumers no matter the day or time of the year. Joining me today, Kathi Vidal, Undersecretary of Commerce for Intellectual Property and Director of the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office, and Paul DelPonte, Executive Director of the National Crime Prevention Council. And we're going to talk about how together these organizations are helping to protect consumers of all ages. Welcome.
Thank you for having us on.
Great to be with you.
Undersecretary Vidal, generally speaking, what types of products or gifts are most likely to be duped?
I wish I could say it was only some of them, but what we are seeing is that all goods are being counterfeited. So whether it's sneakers you're buying your kid, a purse you may be buying your friend, no matter what you're looking at, electronics, all of the goods are being counterfeited this holiday season.
Well, with social media, of course, we're seeing a lot of ads for a lot of different kinds of products, and you don't really know what's real, period. So it's kind of crazy. Paul, so you're suggesting then that we should be on high alert. How do we spot a scam?
Well, the first thing to do is consumers need to be aware that they're out there, that these are real criminals really trying to cause harm by selling you fake products and using the money they're getting from those fake products to fund criminal activities, gang violence, child trafficking, and other horrible things. So it is a real crime that people need to be aware of. And you can spot fakes. You can spot fake websites. You can spot fake products. The things to look for are how real and authentic everything looks. Be suspicious. If a price is too good to be true, use the old adage, it probably is. On a website, for example, start right at the beginning. When you type in the name, did it redirect you to something that is not what you typed in? Is it spelled correctly? Is it spelled wrong? If it's spelled wrong, if Amazon has 2 A's in it, it's a fake. Shut it down. On the products themselves, look for the quality of the presentation on the website. American companies take great pride in making sure that the website looks good. It presents a good marketplace for consumers. The pictures are clear. There are no typos. People who are selling fakes are often overseas, and there are grammatical errors and typos that you can look out for. Make sure the logos, we're all familiar with the big brand names, and we know how much pride companies take in their logos and advertising their logos. And if the logo is a little off, it's a fake. Don't buy it.
Undersecretary Vidal, Paul mentioned that fakes can put the public welfare in danger. What are your organizations doing to help stem this tide of growing counterfeit products?
So a lot of it comes down to what consumers can do. So we are trying to educate consumers on the dangers of buying counterfeit goods, showing them not only that these can cause serious injuries and deaths. Just with consumer products, we're seeing 70 deaths and 350,000 serious injuries per year. It also hurts the economy. It costs their neighbors jobs. Last year alone, it cost the U.S. economy $250 billion in lost revenue. So this is revenue we need to make up in other ways, and it relates to the jobless rate. So, the big picture is what we're doing is we want to educate consumers and make sure that everybody is buying real.
Right. So you just mentioned deaths. That means that these are products across the board. It's not just, handbags and shoes and jewelry. It's other things that could really have an impact on your everyday life and things you use every day.
Absolutely. The products that people are purchasing, whether it's consumer electronics or purses or tennis shoes or bike helmets, they can all cause danger. Even purses or tennis shoes that you think may not cause danger. A tennis shoe may come apart while you're driving. Some of these have chemicals in them that can seep into the skin. We have a lot of rules in the U.S. to keep people safe, and these imported counterfeit products are not living up to any of those standards. So that's why it's so important that we do the right thing and buy real.
Paul, please tell us where we can go to find that information.
Well, we would love for everyone to be part of the Go For Real campaign. You can visit our website, NCPC, National Crime Prevention Council, ncpc.org/GoForReal.
All right. Well, I want to thank you both for joining me. Great information. I had no idea. So guys, whatever the season, be sure to shop smart and buy real. Thank you both for joining me.
Thank you, Audrey. Happy holidays.
And that's it for this week's show. I'm Audrey Adams. Join me here next week for more insightful, intelligent, and inspiring conversations and information on Talk with Audrey. It's all about the business of living. I'll see you next week.